The flags are flying. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Neil Sweeney. I'm the Vice President of Corporate Affairs for de Havilland Canada. And I can't tell you how pleased I am to have so many honored guests, friends of our company, and staff here today to celebrate what we know will be a tremendous announcement for the people of Canada, the people of Alberta, and the people of Wheatland County. Today we have with us members of the provincial government, the Premier, Minister Furr, Minister Panda. I know MLA Godfrey's here, and I think we've got one or two other MLAs here as well. From Wheatland County, we have the entire council, including Reeve Amber Link, and from the Canadian Commercial Corporation, we have Bobby Kwan, the President and CEO. Each one will say a few words following words from Sherry Breitson and Rob McDonald, our owners, and Brian Chafe, our CEO. Following that, we'll have a question and answer period for a few minutes before we let you go and enjoy the rest of the Calgary sun. So without further ado, I wish to ask Sherry and Rob to come to the stage.
So I'm told this little platform here was originally made for Rachel Notley, so I'm standing in Rachel Notley's footprints here. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Premier, ministers, Reeve Link, CCC President and CEO Bobby Kwan, and to all our special guests in the audience. We've met most of Wheatland County's council here this afternoon. We want to thank you so much for being here and being part of this very special day. It's a very important day for our company, as we're going to outline for you our plans for the future of aircraft production and assembly for the de Havilland Aircraft Company of Canada. And it's not just for the de Havilland Aircraft Company of Canada, but it's kind of the product of what Rob and I have been dreaming about and talking about and scheming about really since 2006, when we first acquired Viking out in Victoria, which made parts for de Havilland and sparked this whole thing. So thank you all for being here today to celebrate this important milestone for us, for de Havilland Aircraft of Canada, and for the aerospace industry in Canada. We're very excited about being here in Alberta, where you are also very excited about the future of aviation and the future of aircraft manufacture in Canada. In June of this year, we left the place that had been the home of de Havilland Canada since 1928. And you can do the math on that and understand that we're approaching our 100th anniversary. The Downsview Airport in Toronto was the site of production for de Havilland in Canada for almost 95 years. But following its sale by Bombardier, we had to find a new production home. In June, we held a tribute event at Downsview where literally thousands of de Havilland employees and, more important, retirees came out to pay homage to the people and planes that have made our company so special since 1928. And I think you might, on the storyboard, you might see some of that information. I hope you'll have a look at the storyboards. That day was a great day for Rob and I and for all of us management at de Havilland to share the day with the retirees, some of whom had worked on some of our earliest production aircraft, even the Chipmunk DHC-1. On that day, we celebrated the past, but today we're here to talk about the future of our company and the future of aerospace in Canada. As I mentioned, de Havilland Canada has been operating since 1928, and during our first 94 years, we've produced some of the finest aircraft ever built, with a supply chain that has spanned our country. And as I mentioned in my opening remarks, right the way out to Victoria and the West Coast. So I'll turn it over to Rob. We're going to take turns talking to you.
Hard to keep up.
And we're going to do our best.
So the Havilland lineup of aircraft have produced over 5,000 aircraft in total. There's over 3,000 flying today, and we're proud to support with the manufacture of parts and keep them all flying. We utilize partners across Canada for parts to keep these planes flying, to support the fleet. We create well-paying Canadian jobs to support families across Canada. We believe de Havilland Canada and the products the company has produced for the past 94 years will continue under our support. The fact that we've put de Havilland Canada back together as we purchased the DHC 1 to 7, the last piece of the puzzle was to get the de Havilland name, de Havilland Canada name from Bombardier. They had it in a filing cabinet somewhere. We were able to get that out, and we're now able to use it proudly with the Dash 8 to complete the entire lineup of DHC 1 to 8, which is the entire de Havilland lineup. We're very, very proud to be Canadians and to have that under our care, very much so. Oh, the aircraft we built has been instrumental in being opening up the north and supporting all the missions and the people that live in the north. The rest of the world that have harsh conditions like Canada have finally found our product and are buying it, which is wonderful for this company. Our lineup of Twin Otters, we have sold around the world. There's like 26, 28 countries that we've sold to, and there's only 2 that have been sold in Canada, and our family has bought both of them. The ones that are in Canada, we supply parts for, and they're doing the job they were designed for since the day when they were built. It's something to be very proud of, and we're very proud of as Canadians, and to be the owners of this great company. So
you get that? Nobody in Canada needs to buy a new Twin Otter because the ones that were built originally don't need replacing. They just need our tender, loving care.
That's right. So the manufacturing jobs that we're providing here at de Havilland keep our fellow Canadians working. The benefits of the engineering of the original designs, incredible as it is, they just keep doing, it's iconic, that brand. We were talking about earlier with a few people, when you design an airplane, you ask people to create the plane to do specific missions. So the engineers build the air surfaces to fly and to create the need, fill the need of the design. The aircraft, once it's been manufactured, that is the look. It's not the type of thing where every year we're turning it into a new model, the latest, changing the headlights, doing different trim packages on it. These planes are made to fly the way they are, and the lineup has been so productive and so efficient at what it does. That's what we're continuing to do. We're going to just keep it just like it is. We change the avionics. We, I guess your paint schemes change, but the actual product and the ability for it to do what it was designed for, it just continues. Great, great product.
And so you might want to say something about it being very green, because if you don't have to replace your plane, you don't have to turn it into pop cans, you're not contributing the kind of carbon that results in more manufacturing. So we're very proud of that as well.
Yeah, you don't turn these into pop cans. That's not what they're made for. These planes are made to keep on flying. When we did an Arctic tour 2015, the 50th anniversary of the Twin Otter and the Canadian flag, we were up in the Arctic and we met a family that they were passing the plane down to their son to work the plane serving the market in the Arctic with the same plane. It was a 100 model Twin Otter. And so there's the next family generation making a living, surviving, creating the services that are required in the north with one of those original planes. Absolutely incredible.
So, with thanks to Premier Kenny, who jumped the gun and made the first announcement this morning, he was so excited. I'm very pleased to make the formal announcement that we intend, de Havilland Aircraft of Canada Limited intends to build a new production facility here in Alberta. Our new production facility will be called de Havilland Field and will be located in Wheatland County, Alberta, between the communities of Chestermere and Strathmore. Located close to, and Rob and I spent some time with the assistance of our Victoria crew locating properties and assembled land that I think will give us room to grow and build a first-class aerospace campus in Wheatland County. So located close to Calgary in the Calgary International Airport, de Havilland Field will be the new home of aircraft assembly for de Havilland and in-service de Havilland aircraft. And while our new campus will be located in Calgary, these aircraft cannot be produced or serviced without the teams in Victoria and Toronto. Toronto was the heartbeat of de Havilland, Canada, and the place where it all started, and remains the center of excellence in engineering, as well as the home of customer service, sales and marketing, and other critical functions, office functions of de Havilland. We recently had to move 450 employees from Downsview plant, from their old offices in Downsview plant, and they're now happily resettled in a building just opposite Pearson Airport, where they can still watch planes take off and land, even if they can't see planes being assembled. So great job, Toronto, for doing a difficult move in a record short period of time. Victoria, the place where Viking started, and the location that kept, and Viking, by the way, celebrated its 50th anniversary 2 years ago in 2020. Viking was the location that kept the de Havilland flag flying. We made de Havilland parts the whole time that the numbers DHC 1 through 7 were out of production, and Viking was the company that brought back the Twin Otter. Victoria will continue to be manufacturing the parts and aerostructures. So get ready, Victoria, for parts repatriation. Parts are coming back to Canada, where they belong.
For sure.
And Calgary, where Viking and Longview set up shop when we outgrew our Victoria facilities, and which is now our head office and center of production. De Havilland Field, like Rome, however, I have to warn you, won't be built in a day. We anticipate the full build-out will take somewhere between 10 and 15 years. We're planning to take it slowly and seriously, and we're going to make sure it works, and we're going to make sure it works.
And while we wait for the building, each building to be built, we'll be working with the facilities we have here at the Calgary Airport. We've got 5 or 6 buildings that we manufacture and build planes in now. That will continue and grow. And hopefully the buildings that we set up in the Strathmore area we'll just move them as required to the new property. That is the plan.
So we'll have plenty of time to plan the move, do it properly, do it right, do it comfortably, maybe have a little fun. I hope that one of the things that will go into the campus will be a de Havilland Aircraft Museum. And we already have one heritage aircraft in our fleet. It's a Chipmunk that's based in Ontario right now, and we'll be adding more to the fleet as we're able. I think we've said this already, but we anticipate that some of our suppliers and partners will also set up shop around our campus. We'll be happy to sell or lease them some property there to ensure that there's a seamless supply chain for the new aircraft. Viking can't build everything, and we'll be very happy to welcome anybody who wants to produce aircraft parts here in Alberta. So it will be so much more, and we have a video that we'd like to show. Oh, there's the screen over there. Okay, we'd like to invite you to watch the video.
In 1928, de Havilland, Canada was created to build aircraft and train personnel for military missions in defense of freedom. Over time, today's de Havilland, Canada was built, drawing on the best aspects of the Canadian character: dependability, ingenuity, and daring. From one generation to the next, we have led Canadian aerospace innovation to design aircraft that opened up remote parts of the globe, carried travelers, hauled cargo, delivered aid, and saved lives. Iconic aircraft such as beavers and buffaloes, caribou, chipmunks, and otters. To today's fleet, Dash 8s, Twin Otters, and our firefighting aircraft, the new DHC 515 Firefighter, to help fight the ravages of climate change and protect people and communities. Aircraft built to get the job done. With the end of our first century on the horizon, we look beyond to our next 100 years. And what we see is an aircraft company that connects a vast nation. From Toronto, where it all started at Downsview, and is now the new home of de Havilland, Canada's Centre of Excellence in Engineering. To Victoria, where Viking kept the de Havilland fleet flying for decades, and is now the new home of de Havilland, Canada's Centre of Excellence in aircraft parts and structures. And to Calgary, where we are ready for takeoff into our next century. Welcome to de Havilland Field, a state-of-the-art Canadian aircraft campus located in Wheatland County, just east of Calgary. De Havilland Field will be a place for aircraft manufacturing and maintenance, for global logistics and distribution, a place for aircraft delivery and customer engagement, and the center of a new Canadian aviation ecosystem, a place for leading-edge education and learning, and a home to preserve and honor our long history, a place for jobs and the families they support. We are de Havilland Aircraft of Canada. Rugged, reliable, Canadian.
You pretty much said what's left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't have to say that again, but do you want to say that?
Go ahead.
So over the next few months, we will be consulting with our neighbors in Wheatland County, and we're happy to see them here today, and undertaking a number of government processes before we can get started. And thank you, Bobby Kwan, for coming and supporting us in this effort. We need the support of government, and he is representing the support that we felt from the Canadian government through the Canadian Commercial Corporation. If all goes well, we anticipate construction can start as early as 2024, with the first buildings being ready sometime in 2025. There's still a lot of work to do. We're really just setting out on this long journey, but we're really pleased with the work that's been done to date to get us to this point, and particularly, as I say, the support that all of you And you can tell from Premier Kenny's enthusiasm that Alberta has been extremely welcoming to de Havilland. We're most appreciative of that. So thank you very much for coming. We'd like to turn you over now, I guess, to our
government support thing.
What's that?
So our aviation company, we're wanting to be self-supporting. This means that the people that work for us and ourselves have to do a great job to keep us producing, creating cash, operating the business like a business, and that we're not asking governments for support. We do not want to become like the other companies that suck off the government. It is truly our goal to, if we would need any support from the government, would be that they buy the aircraft and use them. The RCMP used a plane that is 40 years old. It's a great plane, still servicing the way it's supposed to be, but we haven't had any government support from anyone buying any of our planes, the water bombers included, other than, sorry, Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan bought one of our planes, which is great, the water bomber, that's fantastic. But that's what we need. We need people to buy our planes. We don't need and want really support from the government. We're taxpayers. We know how the system works. You know, the government takes the money and gives it to us, and then everyone who works for us has to pay the money. That's not the type of made round to go round that we're into. It's made round. We make the stuff. Someone uses it. Right now, the majority of our products are sold abroad. Our GDP for this country is huge. Through all the parts, through the aircraft, it's something to be very proud of, and we are, that the products are sold abroad. So when it comes to GDP for the country, thank you so much to our employees. Unbelievable. We are so proud that that's the case and the situation we find ourselves in. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob and Sherry. And our next speaker will be Brian Chafe, who's the CEO of de Havilland Canada.
Well, welcome everyone. Thanks, Neil. I said this morning, because we addressed our employees this morning, we wanted them to hear it first. We know that actually didn't happen, but it was all good. It's nice for everyone to be excited because there's a lot of opportunity coming. But it's hard to follow Rob and Sherry sometimes because you can see the passion and the vision, and so I'm just personally very appreciative of giving this opportunity, and I thank you for that, and I think that's why a lot of us are here, for your commitment and dedication. As Sherry mentioned, this is a huge day for our company, for our customers past, present, and future, who rely on us to keep our airplanes flying. The history of de Havilland is long and proud, 94 years. You saw the history in the video, you can see it in the back. And the journey has been, not without its challenges. We were government-owned, owned by Boeing, owned by Bombardier, split up throughout this process. So it's pretty exciting that we're all back together with all the types under one, and Rob and Sherry accomplished that, and even added a couple of extra in between. We returned as a standalone company for the first time at Farnborough this year. And I can tell you, for all of us that were there, it was a very proud moment. It's the first time that has happened since the 1980s. We announced the launch of the 515 Firefighter, an updated water bomber for the changing climate, and an aircraft that will help protect people and places around the world. All in all, even with the impact of COVID, our company and customers, we are emerging and evolving more united than ever before as a single company operating under one banner. Now it's time to take the next step. When Bombardier decided to sell Downsview, everyone knew we had to find a new production facility. Job one was to keep the existing fleet flying, and we are making investments to continually improve our service to the customer. I know that transition has been difficult, and I truly appreciate our employees' commitment and dedication to meeting our customer needs. But producing aircraft is also vital to our long-term success. The Dash 515 Firefighter, an updated Twin Otter, a refreshed Dash 8. We aren't there quite yet on the Twin Otter or Dash 8, but we have taken big steps forward with the launch of the Firefighter. We will start production of the 515 at our location called Calgary 3 here, but once we start ramping up production, we will need to transition to de Havilland Field in order to meet our commitments to our European customers. And we will, as we get closer to making a decision on the relaunch of our other two platforms, de Havilland Field will be critical to our success. De Havilland Field will be a full aerospace campus, from aircraft manufacturing, assembly, delivery, research and development, educational facilities, and distribution. And of course, there's going to be an MRO to capitalize on improvements to our existing fleet. De Havilland Field will be the anchor for an aerospace cluster in Alberta, supported by our teams in Toronto and British Columbia. Our operations in Toronto and Victoria play a vital role in our entire success. And that success is to return de Havilland Canada to its leadership position in Canada and the world. Many years in the making, this day didn't happen overnight, and there's a lot of people that helped, but I'd just like to acknowledge Brad Erickson, who took this dream of Robin Cherries on and got us to this point, is really the driver of de Havilland Field. So thanks, Brad. Through the transition of the last 3 years, we have let others tell our story. We will now control the narrative, and we will be telling our story as we move forward. Today is the first chapter of the next journey of our journey. This is a very exciting day for all of us at de Havilland, for our customers, and I'd like to acknowledge there's many customers here today to be a part of this. And I can tell you they've come from quite a distance in some cases, because the leadership of Trans-Moldavian is here, the largest operator of Twin Otters in the world. But today we give everyone, our customers, our company, and our competitors, clear direction of where we're heading, forward and into the next century. Thanks very much.
And before we ask Premier Kenney to the floor, we're going to show you just a short animated video from BA, our planners, they put together, which is a very interesting and very cool concept of what we intend to produce at de Havilland Field in Wheatland County over the next 10 to 15 years. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what an aerospace campus will look like. So without any further ado, Premier Jason Kenney.
Wow, what an exciting day for Alberta. This is a banner day for Alberta's economy, for diversification in this province, for manufacturing, and most importantly, for the aviation sector. Thank you so much, Sherry and Rob. Thank you, Brian, and thank you to the entire great de Havilland team for your confidence in Alberta. Sherry and Rob, thank you for your commitment to the great tradition of Canadian aviation. I love the slogan, rugged, reliable, and Canadian. What a perfect summation of a century of leading the aviation sector in Canada, and now in the future doing so from the homeland of free enterprise, Alberta, Canada. Thank you so much for this incredibly exciting announcement. You know, Alberta is the home of free enterprise in our country. We have the Alberta advantage reflected in today's announcement. We also know, though, that for most of our modern history, we've been so closely tied to the great Canadian energy industry. We are blessed to have it. We are fortunate that Alberta is the home of the world's third largest proven oil reserves and the only major democratic source of energy for long into, well into the future. But it also means that we go through ups and downs and booms and busts. And that's why we Albertans have long known that we need to put the pedal to the metal on diversification. That's exactly what's happening, and that's partly why we're so excited about today's announcement. I'm sorry for letting the cat out of the bag. That's how excited I am. I actually thought it was already in the paper. But we've been so patient working with your fantastic team over the past couple of years. You've been so patient. I want to give a shout out to Reeve Amber Link and the Reeve of Wheatland County, and who they have been. There is no municipal government anywhere in Alberta or anywhere in Canada that has been more focused on promoting and welcoming investment, job creation, growth, and diversification. They've been fantastic partners, and I just wish every municipality had a leader like Amber, that hungry for investment. As I say, diversification is so important for this province's future. It doesn't mean turning away from the great blessing of our huge energy resources and the brilliant hundreds of thousands of people who make it happen. It means adding. It means adding other industries. And that, you know, we've seen amazing growth across Alberta's economy in recent years. We're leading Canada in economic growth. We're leading Canada in job growth. We've had $160 billion of investment come back to our province in the past 3 years. 200,000 net new jobs created since the start of last year. We're firing on almost all cylinders with the fastest growing information technology sector in North America, with record years in agriculture and forestry, with huge growth in industries like petrochemicals. We're on the cusp of becoming a global hub for the multi-trillion-dollar hydrogen industry, tens of billions of dollars that will be invested in green tech and things like carbon sequestration. We've seen good growth in manufacturing, but maybe that's one industry where we weren't quite meeting our expectations, which is why in Alberta's recovery plan, we identified aviation as a key sector to focus on, to emphasize for future diversification. And I'll be honest with you, when we had discussions at the bottom of the COVID trough in the spring-summer of 2020, about putting together Alberta's economic recovery plan, I was maybe a little skeptical that Alberta could become a real North American hub for aviation. We had, of course, the presence of de Havilland here with production. We have Pratt & Whitney in Calgary. We, of course, have Western Canada's flagship carrier, WestJet. But we looked at all of the natural advantages the province had, and it made sense to say aviation is going to be a big part of our future. Well, today, that dream comes true in Technicolor. With de Havilland Field, a cutting-edge, world-leading aerospace campus that over the years to come could employ up to 1,500 Albertans in high-paying jobs. I'm so excited to hear Sherry and Rob's vision about all of the spin-off and associated businesses that could be co-located there. Thank you for that vision, for being welcoming hosts for suppliers, parts manufacturers, related service companies. And I can tell you we have been in ongoing discussions with other Canadian aviation companies about relocating operations here and starting new operations. We are in discussions with our polytechnics about increasing the number of graduates in fantastic careers like aviation technologists and maintenance specialists, and pilot programs. There's a global shortage of pilots, and we think we can be part of the answer to that challenge. None of this happens by accident. With the job creation tax cut, just about the lowest business taxes in North America, the lowest personal income taxes in Canada, the only province with no sales tax, no payroll tax, no capital tax, no land transfer tax, and right now no fuel tax, and did I mention no sales tax? Alberta is the most affordable place to do business. The red tape reduction strategy, led by Minister Furr, that has eliminated 200,000 regulations in the past 3 years, moving Alberta from an F to an A under the Federation of Independent Business Red Tape Reduction Report Card. Alberta, that's been rated also by the CFIB as the freest trading province in Canada with the fewest restrictions on interprovincial trade and labor mobility. We passed a law saying that if you're a regulated tradesperson or professional and you move to Alberta from another province, we're going to recognize your credentials automatically. One of the issues that de Havilland raised with us early in our discussions was a common challenge for businesses, and that's availability of labor. As our population ages, we know that every industry in every region is going to face labor challenges. My response was, well, then you need to locate in Alberta, because this is the place where people can afford to live, to settle, to buy a home, and to start a family. I started this morning in Toronto, launching phase 2 of our Alberta is Calling campaign, saying to our friends down east and our friends in Vancouver out west, why would you struggle in a region where it costs over $1 million to own a home when you could come and buy an affordable home? The future workers at de Havilland Field will be able to own a home in Chestermere or Northeast Calgary for an average home, little over $400,000, or out in Strathmore for less than that, and actually have a high quality, and in this city, by the way, voted by The Economist, the highest standard of living in the Western Hemisphere, the 3rd highest in the world. So yes, Alberta is calling, and people are coming, the kind of people with the skills that will make de Havilland Field and the aerospace cluster a huge success. And finally, we're committed to de Havilland and companies like it, to helping them solve problems, to providing concierge service. I want to thank Invest Alberta for their help in this. And I'll give you just one example. De Havilland said, you know, we're not quite sure about this Calgary Regional Municipal Board, extra red tape and approvals and waits and timeline delays. Reeve Link had the same concern, came to us and said, would you please liberate Wheatland County from the Calgary Regional Municipal Board? And we got that done in weeks after the request came through, so that Wheatland can get down to creating jobs and moving at the speed of business. We are committed, I want to say to the de Havilland team, the government of Alberta is committed to continuing to solve problems for you. And Rob, your message, you're not looking for subsidies, unlike some companies that we will not mention down east. You're just looking for Canadian governments to make commercially wise decisions in the interests of taxpayers, to at the same time procure a great Canadian equipment produced by a great Canadian company that is rugged, reliable, and Canadian. De Havilland, welcome to Alberta. God bless you. We look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Premier. Now I'd like to call on Minister Tanya Furr.
Good afternoon. I am so excited to be here today for this announcement by de Havilland Aircraft of Canada. Their announcement today is a huge win for Alberta for so many reasons. When our government launched Alberta's recovery plan, two of our key objectives were to diversify Alberta's economy and create jobs. And today, de Havilland is doing just that, helping us to fulfill our objectives. For a province, as the Premier referred to, that's traditionally known for its strength in the natural resources sector, expansion and growth of the aviation industry is further diversification of our economy. Over the past couple of years, we've heard a lot about our growing film and television industries and tech and innovation industries. Now, we can add aviation to that list. Another reason I'm so excited about this announcement is that de Havilland is a well-established company with an excellent track record. They have been a name in the industry for close to 100 years, and their decision to choose Alberta as the location to continue their work and legacy going into their second century of operations is an incredible vote of confidence in our province. We know Alberta is a great place to do business. Our economy is growing. Our unemployment has returned to levels not seen since early 2015. And with their announcement today, de Havilland is creating at least another 1,500 jobs for Albertans looking for work. What an excellent opportunity for those looking for employment, the ability to be hired onto a Canadian company with deep roots all across our country and a strong international reputation. About an hour ago or so, I had the opportunity to go on a tour of the facility, and seeing this aircraft up close, I have to say, what an amazing place to be able to come to each day, knowing that you have a role in helping to fight forest fires and provide safe and dependable transportation. And I'll even do a little plug. I was on de Havilland's website, and they already have a number of jobs posted across all specialties and skill requirements, so I encourage job seekers to take a look. Alberta's recovery plan provides a framework for us to build on our strengths, including our young, skilled, and engaged workforce. Alberta's recovery plan is working. We are seeing significant economic growth across both old and new sectors. Our government has done the work and will continue to do the work to create an ecosystem that is now attracting investment from all over the country and the world. By cutting regulatory red tape, by offering job-creating tax cuts, and by leveraging every possible measure that we have at our disposal to ensure Alberta is known as the best place to do business. This is amazing. This is an amazing time to be in Alberta. We are thrilled de Havilland has chosen Wheatland County as their newest Canadian location to grow. Congratulations to your team, Brian, and to everyone who had a hand in securing this game-changing investment in Alberta's future. We are confident that you will love it here as much as we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Fur. I think Minister Prasad Panda's got some words for us as well. So, Minister Panda.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Alberta de Havilland. Today's announcement is great news for our province and once again emphasizes the success of Alberta's recovery plan, and our work to diversify Alberta's economy. This announcement means thousands more jobs for Albertans and once again demonstrates Alberta government's leadership in attracting new businesses. In fact, last few weeks when I was door knocking in Calgary, Edgemont, I already met a couple of guys working here. In fact, one of them moved from British Columbia, he told me. Alberta has a rich history in aviation, dating back to the early adventures of bush pilots, such as Warp May, a World War I fighter race, who was instrumental in pioneering aviation in Alberta and northern Canada. Blatchford Field in Edmonton became a training facility during World War II and served as an operations base for the U.S. military's defense of Alaska during the Second World War. De Havilland's aircraft have played a proud role in Canada's military history. That history will live on with de Havilland setting up its corporate headquarters and manufacturing operations right here in Alberta, and many of those aircrafts will provide essential firefighting and evacuation roles. We are all very excited about today's announcement, and we look forward to working with de Havilland to further advance its operations here in Alberta. In our province and throughout Canada, there are thousands of people who live in communities only accessible by air. Even in places that are accessible by road, short regional flights remain essential to local economies. The aircraft to be produced by de Havilland right here in southern Alberta are an essential to Canada's remote and rural communities. Once again, welcome to Alberta, and I'm looking forward to a long and rewarding relationship with de Havilland. I can't wait for the first Made in Alberta plane to roll off the assembly line, and while de Havilland's aircraft fly missions and passengers right around the globe, I'm so excited that this company's future lies right here in Calgary's backyard. Thank you. God bless.
Next on our list is Reeve Amber Link of Wheatland County. But before she comes up, I want to say I met Amber, I guess it was in November, December last year, and Brad and I had gone to I guess, unveil our plans for de Havilland Field of Wheatland County. And so we were sitting down and introducing ourselves, and we said, well, we're here from Westerkirk, but we're here from de Havilland. She goes, I knew it was you guys. I knew it was you guys. And she'd done her homework, and she'd figured out, sleuthing through the corporate registries, who was behind the land purchase. So I echo Premier Kenney's remarks with respect to Reeve Link. You're a terrific fighter for your community, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Neil. Where innovation meets tradition. Good afternoon. On behalf of Wheatland County, I'm thrilled to be here today, and I could not be more excited that de Havilland has chosen Wheatland County as the home for de Havilland Field, the epicenter for the future of Canadian aviation. Thank you to each of you for joining us on this monumental day. Where innovation meets tradition. Wheatland County's mission statement, but also a spot-on description of de Havilland and their nearly 100-year history of aviation excellence, continuing production of iconic Canadian aircraft while leading the world in innovation and sustainability. De Havilland has selected a site within our West Highway 1 area structure plan. This plan was created to cluster industrial development, and de Havilland Field aligns with the plan's context and policies. We will work together to build relationships with stakeholders through transparent communication. Our team will work with de Havilland to process planning applications concurrently to streamline their development experience, while maintaining extensive engagement and ensuring legislative requirements are met. Agriculture and the oil and gas sector have been foundational to Wheatland's economy, and we will always support these sectors. However, it has become clear that in order to maintain our low taxes and sustain our service levels, we need to diversify. Just like our agricultural producers cultivate their land, Wheatland County Council has been laser-focused on cultivating a development landscape that is conducive to diversifying our rural economy and driving job creation. We are leveraging our extensive transportation networks and logistical options with proximity to large urban centres and competitively priced land in already established industrial ASPs. We have strong, passionate, and proud businesses that have been in Wheatland long-term, and a municipal council that is committed to fiscal efficiency and minimizing tax increases. We haven't increased our mill rates since 2018, though our assessment has grown consistently. We are committed to building strong relationships with our incredible local businesses and partnerships with neighbours, other levels of government, and potential investors. Wheatland County is one of the first municipalities in Alberta to implement a significant property tax incentive focused on attracting large-scale investment and opportunities for our existing businesses to expand. This is a vital part of positioning Wheatland County as the strongest investment destination for business in Alberta. WC is open for business, and we're serious about competing for large projects. Today is pivotal. The decision to build de Havilland Field in Wheatland is revolutionary in the diversification of our economy, and the employment opportunities being created are significant and will capitalize on the long-standing, strong work ethic that built Wheatland County. That same work ethic that built Wheatland County and Alberta will now build legendary planes, with de Havilland anticipating 1,500 high-skill, high-value jobs in the aerospace sector. This is a game changer. A heartfelt thank you to my colleagues on Wheatland County Council and to every member of Team Wheatland. It's an exciting time to be serving alongside each of you. Developments of this scale are only made possible through collaboration across all levels of government. We're grateful to the Government of Alberta for the legislative changes that empowered our municipality to draft our tax incentive bylaw, for the competitive tax climate the provincial government has set, and strategic provincial programs like the workforce skill development, which are critical to building the labour force. But more than anything, we appreciate the responsiveness with which Premier Kenney and his cabinet take action when inevitable challenges arise. Thank you to Invest Alberta for your relentless pursuit to bring business to Alberta. And thank you to our federal government, and specifically Transport Canada, for your work with de Havilland. Finally, I'm really hoping not to tear up. I'd like to thank the de Havilland team. Thank you to Sherry and Rob. Thank you for choosing Wheatland County. Sorry. For choosing Alberta and continuing to choose Canada. Your commitment to innovation and sustainability, combined with your entrepreneurial spirit, aligns perfectly with our commitment to innovative, sustainable municipal service delivery. Our work together will build a community where our current residents, as well as future employees and their families, can experience the unparalleled quality of life that Wheatland County provides. On behalf of Team Wheatland, I am looking forward to working with de Havilland, our ratepayers, and all stakeholders to create a development that benefits everyone. Thank you.
Our last speaker today will be Mr. Bobby Kwan of the Canadian Commercial Corporation. You know, there's probably not that many people in this room who know what the CCC does, but on a daily basis, the Canadian Commercial Corporation is out advocating on behalf of Canadian exporters around the world. There are partners in a number of endeavors in Morocco, in Turkey, and with the European Union. So we're very pleased that, that Bobby could take some time out today to be here with us. So, Bobby.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very thrilled to be here and to join Rob and Sherry, Premier Kenney, Minister Furr, Minister Panda, Councillor Link, and Brian to highlight the importance of this new state-of-the-art de Havilland Field facility to Canada and to the world. I recognize the importance of this milestone for de Havilland and for the future of the DHC 515 Firefighter, DHC 6 Twin Otter, and Dash 8 400 aircraft lines. As Canada's government-to-government contracting agency, the Canadian Commercial Corporation, or CCC, takes immense pride in the partnership we've developed with de Havilland over the past 15 years to sell aircrafts to governments around the world. To name a few, 12 Twin Otters to Peru in 2010, 3 Dash 8s to Bangladesh, 3 ongoing conversions into CL-415s, water bombers to Morocco, 1 Twin Otter to Argentina, and more recently, facilitating contracting with European Union countries to purchase 22 of the DHC 515 firefighter aircrafts. As the effects of the climate change continues to impact nations around the world, the Canadian Commercial Corporation looks forward to facilitating the sale of more de Havilland's world-class firefighting aircrafts to countries around the world. De Havilland's growing success in Europe represents another landmark in CCC's 75-year-long history of supporting innovative Canadian businesses for international sales. Thanks to professionals like the men and women who will be working in this facility, Canada's aerospace industry has a strong international reputation for manufacturing reliable, high-performing aircrafts. The Canadian aerospace industry contributes over $20 billion each year to the economy, maintains over 200,000 high-value-added, well-paying jobs in Canada, and therefore helping de Havilland identify and enter complex markets through government-to-government sales is not only CCC's mandate, it's also our passion. I look forward to seeing the growth of de Havilland in Calgary in the years to come. This new facility will have ripple effects that are felt across Alberta, Canada, and around the world. On behalf of everyone at CCC, we are here to support and to celebrate your success. On that note, back to you, Neil. Thank you very much.
We have some time for a few questions for from our guests and from the media here. I'll be answering on behalf of de Havilland, but if you've got a question for any of the ministers or Bobby, I'm sure they'd be happy to take one.
Come on over here if you want to ask a question. Yeah, just for de Havilland, Adam McVicker with Global News in Calgary, sorry.
Can you guys turn it up?
Can you hear me now? Oh, geez.
Yeah, there you go. There we go.
So we heard no support from the government. So why was Alberta and this location chosen? And I guess, you know, we heard the 1,500 jobs and the several hundred construction jobs, but what are we hearing about the spin-offs from this investment?
When de Havilland Field was first contemplated, you know, Downsview was still in operation. And Rob and Sherry looked at whether or not there would be an ability to set up an aviation campus such as this in the GTA. And it really wasn't going to be economically affordable. The price of land in Ontario, in the Golden Horseshoe, and near Toronto, it's very, very expensive. So we looked at Alberta. Alberta, we have facilities. We have 6 facilities here today. We have a great, highly skilled workforce, and we've got the ability to grow. We know what opportunities we can contribute with SAIT and with other educational institutions. So Alberta was perfect for us. We've got a great, young, diverse workforce that is going to be able to produce aircraft for decades to come. So Alberta was a perfect home for us.
And is the Premier able to take a question here? Sorry, Premier. It's off topic, and I apologize, Premier.
The answer will probably be no, because I did a news conference this morning, if you got up at 6. I took off-topic questions. I'll be available to do that later this week, and I want to be respectful to our host here, but if you want to, give it a shot.
Well, I will give it, I guess, a bit of a shot. But you did ask the question this morning. Our newsroom in Edmonton was wondering if you had a chance to look at Madhu's comments and if you have any reaction to that.
You know, I'm not here to talk about Twitter. I'm here to talk about one of the biggest wins in Alberta's modern economic history. I know you, for some of you in the media, your job when it comes to politics is to be fight promoters. My job is to be a job promoter. And let me just add, in terms of support, while you know our approach as a government, as a province, is not to write checks and do subsidies like some others do, we are hungry for investment, and we'll do whatever we can to support businesses as they expand. So we've given de Havilland a commitment to work with them, particularly on the skills training dimension, to ensure that they have the workforce they'll need to fulfill these potential 1,500 jobs. So you know that we have the Skills for Jobs strategy, part of which was got $600 million of additional funding in this year's balanced budget to fund additional seats at our post-secondary institutions for in-demand occupations. And so we're already fairly well advanced in discussions with SAIT and other polytechnics about tooling up, expanding the number of the enrollment for programs like aviation technology, aviation maintenance, and related skills. So we think the people who know best what jobs we'll need in the future are actually the employers. So that's the kind of undertaking that we have made. We've also made an undertaking to Havilland and Wheatland County to work with them on potential infrastructure needs. There's going to be a lot of traffic coming and going out of this new plant, and we may need to expand or modernize that infrastructure. And of course, we've given them an undertaking to work on regulatory and technical issues. For example, they need access to water for fire suppression and other purposes. We have provided indirect incentives through the municipality by giving them the ability to provide municipal property tax breaks, as Reeve Link mentioned. So we are there in multiple ways, being as supportive as we can, and will continue to be.
Rick Bell, Calgary Sun. It's for de Havilland. It is kind of it's a business question, but it's wrapped in some politics. But business and politics do occasionally go hand in hand. I know you've worked on this for a long time, and this is great news today for everybody in Alberta and in Canada. But in the past few months, we've heard from certain political figures that if a certain idea was accepted, that idea would cause investors to either flee the province if they were here already or not come to the province if they were planning to come. Well, you're here and you're contributing a whole lot more in the future. So you're obviously here to stay and in a bigger way. 2 weeks from now, that idea that I'm talking to you about, and you probably know what it is, it's called the Sovereignty Act, could be the #1 priority. Could be the law by November of a new provincial government. It is #1 on their priority list. Did that Sovereignty Act have any, did it figure at all in your thinking or discussions about taking the great step that you took today?
I've been privileged enough to be at the executive table with de Havilland, with Brian, since January. I can tell you that the word Sovereignty Act never came up once. We're focused on building aircraft, supporting our customers, and supporting the planes that we have in our fleet. There's nothing that we're not a political company. We're an aircraft manufacturer.
That's a lot better answer than I usually get from politicians. Maybe you should moonlight with another career. The second thing is, do you really worry about political issues just generally? I mean, here we are in Alberta. Do you concern how sensitive is this project to political changes of any type of any government, or is this the sort of project that is just, it's going to work no matter what?
I think de Havilland, like every business in Canada and probably in North America, looks at business climate when they make decisions about where to, place facilities. Alberta has a great business climate. We have an affordable standard of living where people can, have a great quality of life while affording a house. I live in Victoria. I can tell you that it's very difficult for young people to afford houses. So when we're thinking about where we're going to be able to recruit a workforce, Alberta comes top of mind. Calgary comes top of mind.
John Watson from the Strathmore Times. My question is actually for Reeve Link, if she would have time to come up. Obviously, 1,500 jobs in a massive campus like this is going to have a tremendous impact for the local community. I'm just looking to get an estimated sense of what that is going to look like over the next 5 or 6 years as this develops for, of course, Wheatland and Strathmore and the facilities associated with these communities.
Great question, John. I guess to put this in context, the population of Wheatland County is just under 9,000 people. So a development of this scale is monumental. We do anticipate that a number of employees will come from the local region, but we also anticipate that de Havilland is going to draw employees from the urban municipalities surrounding us, but also from all across Canada and potentially internationally. So we know that this will have a profound impact on the future of Wheatland County. I apologize for getting emotional earlier, but this is huge for Wheatland and for Southern Alberta and for rural Alberta, for a company to trust that it makes sense to move their headquarters to a rural municipality and to work with our stakeholders and with our residents and with our neighboring municipalities to move to Wheatland County. There aren't words to describe how much that means to our community. And this is actually a contributing factor to the long-term sustainability of rural Alberta as well. So a huge debt of gratitude to Rob and to Sherry and to de Havilland for making this commitment.
I think we've got time for one more. So.
Sorry, this is also for Amber Link, so sorry, I'm going to make you walk back up here. Get the steps in. So just a question, Wheatland County has been like a magnet for industry recently. The wallboard packing plant, hydrogen, solar, phytoorganics in Strathmore, and now this. What have you and the council been able to do to make Wheatland County such an attractive place for huge industries, and how do you think this will impact the growth of surrounding communities in the future?
It's been an incredibly exciting time in Wheatland County. Our council did spend almost our entire last term cultivating this environment that I was referencing that is conducive to development and to investment attraction. That can't be done without also having that same culture in the province. So we are incredibly grateful for what's been developed through our provincial government. It would be things like the investment tax credit that we did. And as Premier referenced, that isn't always received well. I have colleagues who have referenced that as a race to the bottom. We don't see it that way. A tax incentive is not a loss of tax dollars if those tax dollars weren't coming already. So we're incredibly grateful for the growth that we're experiencing. That has come from that commitment from our council to cultivate that environment, but also from developers who are looking outside the box. The way that our lives are structured these days, you don't need to necessarily be right in a large urban center. And we do have that competitively priced land. As well, Team Wheatland is committed to, I know Premier referenced concierge service. We are literally there to walk developers through that process, to streamline things as much as possible, of course while ensuring that all legislative requirements are met and that there's extensive engagement. This needs to work for the adjacent landowners, but I know that we have heard that clearly from de Havilland as well, that they're committed to that process. So it's a very, very exciting time, and I'm very grateful for the colleagues that I work with and for the entire Team Wheatland that's made this possible.
Thank you.
Hi, Lunan Charpentier from Radio-Canada CBC. I have a question for Premier Mr. Kenny. In French, if possible, I would just like to know, est-ce que vous pouvez nous expliquer l'importance de cette annonce aujourd'hui pour l'économie de l'Alberta, la diversification? Ouais.
The question was just essentially to talk about the importance of this announcement in French. C'est une annonce historique pour l'économie albertaine, pour la diversification, particulièrement pour le secteur aéronautique, qui est un des secteurs ciblés de notre stratégie de croissance économique. C'est un jour incroyable, avec un engagement par de Havilland à créer à peu près 1500 emplois dans un secteur technologique pour les produits qui seront exportés partout au monde. Et c'est vraiment une journée clé dans l'histoire du secteur aéronautique au Canada et particulièrement en Alberta, à cause de notre dépendance sur l'industrie de l'énergie. Nous savons que c'est essentiel que nous diversifions. Et aujourd'hui, c'est une grande étape vers la diversification de l'économie albertaine. Et il faut dire que ce n'est pas la fin de route parce que nous travaillons sur les autres projets dans le secteur aéronautique actuellement. So I pretty much said what I've said in English. I just added one thing, which is that we are working and have been for some time on some other exciting projects in the aeronautic and aviation sector. In fact, on Friday night, when I was in the queue in London, England, to pay respects to Our Late Queen, I chaired a 2-hour telephone conference call with a bunch of ministers and deputy ministers, as Tanya and Prasad will confirm, discussing another potential game-changing massive investment in Alberta's aviation sector. So these are exciting days.
Thank you all for coming. I think our photographer, Bud, wants to take a photo of everybody here. So I know from past experience, if you can move in and move in, that would be great. That would work for him. And then the dignitaries, we'd like to get one shot of you in front of the Dash 8. So thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you all.